Hey, what's up, everybody? What's up? Thank you so much for coming back again this week on The Town with Tanya. Today's guest proves that it's never too late to follow your dreams or to make people laugh until they cry. After 35 years at Social Security, he stepped onto the comedy stage and never looked back. Let's see, a grandfather, a performer, and a community mentor. He's appeared in Good Timing with Joe Firestone on Peacock, where his particular clip was featured on The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon. Just a little brag there. He won the title of funniest Jewish comedian in New York City, and he even appeared on The Marvelous Miss Maisel. Whether he's cracking jokes with his bird, Charlie, there you are, Charlie, or helping individuals with disabilities find their funny bone, he's living proof that there is life after retirement, and so that life after retirement can be your most creative chapter yet. So please welcome Zygy Susser. Hey.
Hey, hi, Tanya. Thanks very much. It's a beautiful intro. I'm happy I wrote it.
Gotta do it. Everybody knows. I love those claps. Everybody knows it. So thank you for joining us. I appreciate you, first of all. And let's see what I got here. I got to put your information up here. What do you call it? So you started stand-up comedy after your retirement. What was the moment like you knew you had to try comedy?
Like you mentioned, I worked for Social Security for like 35 years. And like, I don't know what it was, like maybe 15 years in, we would always have like a Christmas party at the end of the year. And about 15 years in, I started writing jokes for the party. And people loved it. And I was always getting laughs. I was read off a yellow legal pad and stuff. And it was great. And I always liked comedy. And when I retired, I was wondering, will normal people like me too? not just people who I work with.
Right.
So I took a class, and we had a graduation class, and it was a club. It was the Gotham Comedy Club. There were maybe 200 people in there. I brought about 15 of what?
It's usually 300.
300. So it was packed. Wow. So it was full. I had brought like about 15 of my own, but I was getting a lot of laughs. I mean, it was amazing, and it was addictive. It was a drug, you know? I mean, I just wanted to have that high over and over. It took me days to come down. And like after that, you know, I just wanted to have more. And it isn't often that you get it so well that, everything works. Your jokes, the audience, the timing, everything. And that was one of those times. And I just wanted to repeat.
That is fantastic. I took the class, Manhattan Comedy School, with Andy Engel and them.
Right.
Karen Redeemer was my teacher. I say, like, I don't know, 13, I don't know how many years ago, 12, 10 years ago. I got to look on the calendar because I got lost because of the pandemic. So,
right. My first teacher was Karen Bergreen. Do you remember who yours was?
That was my teacher. Yeah, I love.
She's great. She's great. She's a great
still
first
at it, huh? Wow.
Exactly.
Wow, that must be a good gig.
Yeah.
What I'm going to do when I retire from comedy. That's it. So what did your Social Security coworkers say when they found out you were doing open mics?
Well, they wanted to come to shows. They like I invited the manager of the office to a show and other people, and they wanted to see me perform, which was great. And even when I would do jokes in the office about them, sometimes I was worried. Maybe they'll be upset. But some would come over to me after and say, "Why didn't you do a joke about me?" Whatever.
Okay, I'll add you to the list.
Yeah. So,
sure.
So I knew it was okay. So whatever. But it's fun. I like them.
Have you ever done the opposite where you're like, because I have one joke I did with my daughter, and she's like, "It's not funny," and I'm like, "Actually, that's the one that gets me all the laughs."
Don't tell me about that. That's my wife. My wife doesn't think I'm funny at all. She went to that graduation show, that first show. She hated it.
Really? Oh my God, no.
She thought it was, like I made some jokes about us, whatever. I mean, that's what comics do, and she just did not like that. So that was it,
And wrote more jokes.
What?
You just wrote more jokes about it.
Right. But she doesn't know I tell them.
Okay. Right. Wait till she's not in the room.
Right. And if we'll be around a table and maybe I'll crack a joke or two, people will be laughing. She won't laugh. She'll say, "I don't get it, but what's so funny about it?" The word
Oh,
I can't run jokes by her or anything.
no, that
I would I,
sucks.
I would think I'm the worst comedian. but
Oh,
but but
that's
I
good.
mean,
That's
what?
good because you have that audience member that sits there looking at you like this. That's your wife. So that's good. You get used to. You're like, I get this at home, honey. You ain't doing nothing.
This is something I'm going to tell you. I'm sure nobody's listening, so it's okay. Like,
Lean
like
in. The secret.
right, right there. Like there's a joke I did in that graduation show, and she really didn't like it. And she said, "You can't do it anymore. I don't want you to do it." And I said, "Oh, okay, whatever." But I kept doing it because it got a big laugh. So I once did like a TV show, a cable show, and she came with me, and this other comic's boyfriend came with him, and blah blah blah, and they're in like the waiting room while we're on the set and everything like that, and that boyfriend goes over to her and saying, "So you're the woman, you're his wife that he makes that joke about?" And I
No.
go, oh, and she goes, "You
Uh,
still tell that joke?" It was horrible. He ratted me out. It was
yes.
terrible. It was
Yeah. You
terrible.
will get ratted out for sure. I found out. If you don't want
Oh,
to tell, don't tell it. But that's that isn't that a part of being a comedian though? You observe what you observe, and so no one can really edit that.
right.
You
But
know what I'm saying?
I once asked Karen Bergling that question. I said, if your family doesn't want you to tell jokes about them, what should you do? And she said, then don't tell jokes about them. So
Yeah.
I guess that's
Out of
really the
respect.
right,
Yeah.
yeah, out of respect, that's really the right
Yeah.
answer.
It's
But
true.
I was a laugh hog, and I wanted to, I don't use those jokes anymore. But at the beginning, I didn't have many, so I had to use them. Now I don't use them, and I don't make well, no, I don't make that much fun for it.
I got you. I got you. No, it's
Right,
so that's a really challenge because remember, it's our world that we're in. So whatever that is, whether our kids noise, voice sounds like a Kardashian, which is one of my jokes, or whether it's they do something funny or irritating, but fun, not irritating where we want to get rid of them. Just it's our family.
right,
So
right.
it's a hard line. It's a
I
hard.
would make a joke about my daughter, and then I thought maybe that's a little mean. So I
Mm,
changed daughter to cousin or something, and that way I could still do
good.
the joke and,
Yes.
whatever, let my cousin hate me, but whatever. But,
Yes. It's about the family member.
right, 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 right.
Uh,
Anyway,
how did being a parent and now a grandparent influence your comedy voice?
uh, well, what's great is that I don't have a lot of self-esteem. I have low self-esteem. So
Oh,
when you hear from your kids that
mm,
they love the stuff, that they want to bring friends to the shows, that makes me feel good. That makes me feel like I'm doing the right thing, that I am funny and whatever, because and they're proud of me.
yeah.
Like most people's parents my age especially aren't doing comedy, aren't making other people laugh, so they're kind of proud of me, and that makes me feel good about myself and stuff, which is nice.
Yeah, no, it is. Even my 4-year-old grandson's like, "You make people laugh, me and I said, "Yeah." He says, "Make me laugh." I said, "You know how I make you laugh?" Then I start tickling him. I said, "That's easy. I don't even need a joke or a punchline for this one."
Right, right,
But it's nice when he recognizes something. Like he doesn't know what it is, but he understands that grandma gets on stage and makes people
yeah,
laugh. I
yeah. my,
like that.
my grandkids are still too young, but I'm hoping they enjoy it when they're older and stuff like that.
They will. They'll look back on all these tapes because everything's recorded now.
Right,
So
exactly,
that's
exactly.
the brilliance of it. People say, "Oh, I have too much stuff out there." Trust me, when it comes to the great 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 grands, and they look back and say, "Oh, that was Zygy. Wow, this guy was funny," or "This was Grandpa or great grandpa." I mean, it's going to be gold, gold. So
I'm gonna have to move it off my VHS tapes to
no beta.
right, right, right.
I know, I get it. I have a joke about that with dating, actually. Yeah,
Oh, that's
the
funny.
last time I had a date, Chitty Bang Bang Big Cap came out on VHS, but,
That's
but now I changed it to the Bible had just came out. It was written on a tablet.
That's good. I like that. I like
Yeah,
that. I
yeah,
had a whole set on Netflix when they used to like mail DVDs to you,
Yes,
back and
I
forth,
remember
back and
those
forth,
days.
and had a really good set about it. And they stopped doing it, and I don't know if I could do that set anymore. People won't know what I'm talking about. But
Yeah,
anyway,
past tense. Yeah, some people are like, "What is that? A DVD?"
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
you
yeah,
don't know a DVD. You wait till
exactly.
you load my beta. You
Right,
know.
right, right, right,
Um,
right.
so tell us about being featured on the Tonight Show via Joe Firestone special. What was the surreal moment like?
One of my biggest thrills and biggest regrets at the same time.
Oh, really?
Like this comic Joe Firestone, who's a great comic.
Hmm.
Um, she decided to work with seniors at a senior center, and
Hmm.
was doing like whatever 45 minutes of comedy live at a senior center, and then
Okay.
COVID hit and it went on Zoom, and I wasn't part of the original live group at the center, but people told people. I think Elaine told me whatever, so I started going on the Zoom show, and it's
Uh-huh.
just a lot of fun. She would put out premises for us, and we would like try to make funny jokes out of it and stuff like that. So she decided to make a documentary about it, and she filmed it, and it was called Good Timing with Joe Firestone, and it was for the Peacock channel, and she used to write for Jimmy Fallon, so she went on the show to promote it, and and I almost I wanted to be in the audience the day she was promoting it,
Uh-huh.
but I didn't. It was so stupid. Like I
Mhm.
thought of being on it, like trying to wait online, get in the audience, because I thought, I don't know, I didn't know what she was going to show, but she was going to promote the show, so I was hoping I should have been in the audience anyway. So she's on the show, she's
Mhm.
talking about the show,
Mhm.
and did you ever see it, by the way? Did you ever see the
No, I'd have to go look that up because
You
I'm
got to
very
find it. And,
yeah.
she interviews us besides us doing our bits. She interviews us. And when she interviewed me, she said, what's your, biggest dream? And I said, to be on the Tonight Show. But of course, that'll never happen. So
Wow.
when she's talking about this to Jimmy Fallon, and they're going to say, and he says, let's show a clip. And they show the clip with me saying that,
No way.
and Jimmy Fallon at the end says, "Well, you were just on the Tonight Show." I
Oh,
mean, wow, wow.
wow. That's big.
So one of the biggest thrills that I was seen, and one of the biggest regrets that I didn't go in person. And maybe they would have had me come on stage. Maybe they would have shown me in the audience or something. So
Right.
it's great, and a bit of a regret too and stuff like that. But it's
Wow.
fantastic.
That is amazing. That's just any for us any little break in the rock is good. Any little chisel
Right,
is a
right,
win for us.
right,
It's
right, right,
a
right, right.
long haul game. This is not no short term game. It's a long game. I've seen
Yeah,
people
yeah,
get nuggets 20 years in. It's like, oh, now you want to come and say I'm whoever?
right.
Great. So you just keep at it because we do it because we love it. It's not even about
Yeah,
anything else, but the love of hearing that pure laughter and no one staged it, forged it. It's just like, oh, I
right,
like
right, right, right.
bring happiness to people, especially during the pandemic.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
started doing the shows on Zoom because of the pandemic, and I saw a lot of lonely people sitting home, and I was like, oh my God, this cannot be. Like this cannot be. So that's how I started it.
The pandemic was a really horrible thing,
Hmm.
but one of the greatest things for me, for comedy. I met
Mm.
so many comics on Zoom, and there used to be this guy. I don't know if you ever heard of him, Rob Chaffee.
Yes,
Um, Rob, he was a great comic, and he put together a group of us, and he was like teaching us stuff on Zoom for free. We'd go to him every day, and he'd critique our stuff. And
mm.
I never would have gotten that if it hadn't been for the pandemic and Zoom and all that kind of stuff. So a lot of horrible stuff came from it, but some real good stuff came from it too. You
Yes,
know.
that's how I met you.
Yeah.
Because that's right.
Exactly.
Yeah, I met Helene. Everybody I think is because of the pandemic. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
I I'm still friends with everybody that I met during the pandemic. So and
Right.
see in
Right.
person, it's great. It's a great. We were able to get something great out of it.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, yeah.
Right.
And I still do some Zoom shows,
Yeah.
whatever. Like this guy Danny
Yeah.
Detchi in California does one, and he has people on it. So I
Oh.
still do some.
Oh, okay.
So I still do some.
Yeah, I want to do one for Palestine eventually one day. I just haven't got it together yet. But there's a couple of families I know that are in need. I would love to do that just because that's really, if you're going to raise money, you might as well raise it for real tangible victims, if they're in it, So one day, I mean, there's different things, but it's good. Zoom is good for things like that, for anything, and connected. So it's a good thing. What's the biggest myth people believe about starting over later in life?
That it's too late, and it's not. I mean, as long as you can move around, as long as whatever, and you don't even have to move around. You could do stuff right on on your phone and everything. But it's never too late. Just try to keep healthy so you can do those things.
Yeah, that's the catch. Staying healthy.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the catch, especially after 50. It's like, come on, guys, get it together here. We should be working out.
When I'm on a show and all of a sudden the comic says, I'm 35 and all these things are hurting me and I can't do that. And I go, what? Well, 35, I wish I was 35, whatever. So it's
just
funny.
wait, bro. I mean, I'm
Right.
lucky. Yeah, I never tell my real age, but I say I'm 55 plus 6 divided by 4, take away 2. That's what I always tell people. They're like, what? Doesn't even make
Right.
sense. There you go. You
Right.
don't need to know that sense.
Right.
But I think I look very good for my age. I could lose about 15 pounds, I think. But other than that,
You're beautiful. You're beautiful, really.
thank you. So far, no glitches. No glitches. iRobot is okay. Do you remember the first time? Someone told you you're funny?
I think I was always funny, as a kid. Like I was an only child. I am an only child.
Oh,
And I, I don't know, that was maybe my way to get in with people or whatever and so people kind of always liked me. I would always crack a few jokes. I wasn't a class clown or anything like that, but I've always had a good sense of humor. I would write funny letters to people. By the way, do you hear Charlie talking? Is that?
yes.
He's saying, "Who's a banana?" By the way,
That's what he's saying?
he says, "Who's a banana?"
Am I going crazy? Or do you hear something?
Who's a banana? And
Wow.
the reason he says, "Who's a banana?" is I would say to him, "Who's a good boy?" and "Do you want a banana?" And he mashed them together and made "Who's a banana?" And it's just over and over, "Who's a banana? Who's a banana?" And I have a joke about it. I say, he's a genius, and English isn't even his first language.
Hey,
Right, there he goes.
oh my God, he's so cute.
And I say, and it's not only because he's my son that I'm proud of him, but anyway, but he's a good guy. He's a good guy. He's like 7 years old now and stuff.
Is he? How long do they live?
Between 15 and 20. Between 15 and 20, and he's a green cheap conure, is the breed and stuff like that. And they could bite. They could be really nice, but they could also bite hard. So you got to be careful,
Okay.
But in general, he's a really good boy. Charlie, you want to say hello to Tanya? Say hello.
Charlie, someone's out there saying hi. Thank you. Your comedy minute. Thank you. They said we both look great. Thank you very much. We'll be thanking our parents later.
Right. Your comedy minute. That's Scott Townsend. He's a really good guy. He's a good.
Oh, that's Scott. Okay, awesome. Yeah, I love interviewing comics. It's always something, some jewel, somebody. So how does performing in New York City shape your material compared to, let's say, a quieter room?
The noisier, the better. And when you have very few people in the audience, it's hard to get a laugh. But when you have a big audience and they start laughing, and it's almost like a wave, it's really good. And if there are very few people, sometimes people could be self-conscious and stuff. To be honest, even in the big audience, people are self-conscious. They need someone to start. They need someone to start the ball rolling. They don't want to be the only one. Maybe that he wasn't so funny. So, and yet when you have a big audience and a lot of laughter, it feels great. It feels great.
It does. And it teaches, sometimes it's a catalyst to help the audience relax. Like they may have come from a long day of work. They may have been frustrated or something. So at first it might be like intense, like, go ahead, make me laugh. But when that first laugh comes, and actually you remind me today, RIP to my friend Tanya Nolan, who came with me to Gotham the first time I did my class and did the graduation. And it was the 300 people. I think it was 300 people. Check it, but I'm pretty sure it's 300 it holds at that time, I think. I want to say that's right. And I only say that because Metropolitan Room holds 150. And I bought with me 26 or 28 people.
Wow.
Like most anybody's ever bought. I got a free tape actually out of it.
Wow.
But when we talk about laughs, my friend Tanya Nolan, RIP girl, we're thinking of you always, When I tell you, this girl has an infectious laugh that anybody, I don't care who you are, if
Yeah,
you are in the realm of Tanya Nolan and you hear her laugh, you're gonna start laughing. Like so I was like, wait a minute, was the joke funny or because Tanya? Because she goes, ha, 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 the way
right,
she
right,
laughs,
right, right,
you
right.
want to laugh on her laugh, right?
What-
But it's every go look at Tanya performing at Gotham Comedy Club, and you're gonna listen. That's her laugh, and but everybody follows like a wave. It's like
I know when you have a person like that in the audience, it's so great,
yeah.
that it's
It was
great because
awesome. She came in, supported me when I was at my, and I'm still not perfect, but when I was at my worst, when you're like, I don't know if I want to go see this joke again, 55th time. But she was like, no, Coop, I'm gonna check it out, Coop. I'm gonna check it out. So, R.I.P. Tanya. Thank you.
right, right, right. It's nice. It's nice to have a friend in the audience who really laughs and appreciates your stuff and everything.
Absolutely, it's gold. It's actually gold, and it helps the comic, just bring it down a notch, and then go really into their real self, and not have to scan the room and think about who's here and what they're doing, and
Yeah,
and find
yeah, yeah.
people or whatever. I love it. I love it. Laughter is everything. So if you got that one person, it's gold.
And the opposite is also true.
Mm,
If you have dead silence, if you have crickets, and you have a lot of people, that's one of the
oh,
worst feelings. It's
oh,
one
it
of the
happened to me one
worst.
time. But I'm good now. That's why it takes at least 10 years or 10,000 hours because I didn't know why. But when I got on stage one time and it was crickets, only one person was like, I'm going to laugh. Only one out of like 30, 40 people. I was like, okay, this is like, but I was able to stand in it. And that made them uncomfortable. So then I was able to go into what I was really doing. It's a weird thing. But
Yeah,
sometimes if you can stand the quiet and really stand in it in confidence, it really can flip around.
it
It,
takes a lot of guts. It takes a lot of guts,
it does.
self-confidence. That's
It
cool.
does.
That's good. That's good. I
But
know
it takes a while.
I was doing a set once, and I had things memorized. It wasn't like so fluid or whatever, and I like lost my place,
Oh God, I
and
hate
and, and I was just standing there, and it felt like forever.
that. I thought I was the only one that did that.
I
Okay.
felt like a deer in headlights. And I was taping myself. I had my phone in my pocket, and all of a sudden there was like a record going around and it skipped. And finally, it got on the right spot, and I saw my place, and I was started again. And
Uh,
it felt like an hour. And when
mm,
I
it
checked the
does.
tape, it was 6 seconds. It felt
Oh,
like forever. I was just standing there for 6 seconds, and I was dying. But
oh,
whatever, whatever.
yeah. No,
It,
that's the worst. That silent thing is like, oh, but you have to learn to accept it and
yeah,
in
yeah.
it because the standing in it is what makes the audience say, all right, they're just taking a pause moment. That's all, or whatever, or maybe it's a part of their set. You don't really know until you show it. Obviously, it's
I
obvious.
remember a comic, I think it was a class I took or whatever, or maybe I heard a lecture or something, and he said, embrace your bombs. You learn the most from your bombs and stuff like that. It's hard to accept because nobody wants a bomb. Nobody wants to do badly.
No,
But,
and I
but
just started hosting, so you really got to accept your bombs when you start hosting. You're like, wait a minute, I wasn't quick enough. You got to be quicker after the next comic come on. You got to be quick enough to,
uh-huh, uh-huh.
don't take the stage time. All those things along with being funny.
Yeah.
So,
But
yeah.
but when I listen to a tape, I love listening to tapes that go well, and the laughter and stuff like that. But I don't really learn anything new from it. But when I listen to a tape and I made a mistake and I go, oh, I made a mistake that I got to watch for that. I learn more when I make a mistake and stuff.
Good, good, good. Wow. So you work with individuals with disabilities using comedy. What's one uncomfortable moment from that experience?
Well, the story of that is like there's this guy, a really great comic, Chris Murphy,
Oh yeah.
and there's an organization called Aha Broadway,
Mhm.
and they hooked up with this like residence where they have people who are formerly homeless and have some emotional problem, whatever, and they live there,
Okay.
and we once did a show with Helene and Tom Padavano. I was on a show with Helene, Tom Padavano, and we
Mhm.
did a show for the center, and they loved it, and then we invited two of those residents to come on a Zoom class with Chris,
Mhm.
and after that, they set it up for Aha Broadway to go in and have a class for like 5 6 weeks, and then we have a graduation thing at the end,
Fabulous.
and I mean, these people don't have that much in their lives, and Chris is so great with them. I'm just there like as an assistant and stuff like that, but he does the main thing. But he
Yes.
brings them out, and you know, he just has them talk, you know, and just feel good about themselves, and just comes up with an act for them, even if, you know, whatever, it wouldn't be a typical, you know, comedy show. And then we have a graduation show, and the other residents come and watch, and the people who perform are so great, you know. But you know, you said what's hard or bad about it. People don't always come back every week. Like, you don't know, you know, why they're not there, or what's happening with them, or
Right.
whatever, you know, like they just drop out and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
the ones who stick with it, I think they really enjoy it. They really enjoy it.
Yeah, comedy really is a great outlet for a lot of. I used to use it, that and theater. I used to do comedy and do it for 6 weeks for young kids, like 10 years old, who had ADHD. It was great tool. I mean, when I tell you I had naturals, they were like natural. Like, this is gonna be easy, you know. That's just like, because they already had material, because they need the they wanted the attention. But now I'm trying to teach them how to shift the attention to something that makes sense, that can
Right.
work for them, that can really work for them. And their parents were like, "Oh my God, this is so helpful." You know, they're sitting down writing jokes. I was like, that's what you got to get them doing right now. Get
Yeah.
the juices flowing. So it can work in that modality, in rehab, in a lot of places. It can work a comedy. You can really, it's an
Yeah.
amazing tool for building confidence, building, you know, so many elements. But I'm
You
glad.
know, the same way I mentioned, like Joe Firestone, you know, did that thing at a senior center. So I go to a second senior center, and you know, it's crossed my mind to maybe do the same thing in person, you know, with that senior center. But one of the things I'm afraid of is I don't hear so well, and I might not hear them, you know. So they're gonna maybe say stuff, and I go, what, and the whole session will be what. You know, they don't hear, I don't hear. It's going to
Right.
be terrible, you know. So
Right.
I haven't really pursued it, but it's crossed my mind to maybe try to do a thing at a different center and stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely. It's a great thing. I'm telling you, it's especially now. People need laughter. I don't care how you get it; they need it. Even if they don't know they need it, we need to prescribe it to them. That's what docs say. You need 2 hours of comedy to go to a comedy club and get your laugh on, please, because it really
Yeah, yeah.
helps you so much stuff.
You know, like I always, you know, I still do a lot of bringers, you know, where I do, I'm able to do a show because I bring people.
Right.
And I always feel bad about bothering people, you know, and stuff like that.
Right.
But after the show, they always thank me. They always thank me for bringing them there. They always thank me for giving them a good night out where they laugh. So,
Right.
you know, I shouldn't feel guilty. You know, I don't, I mean, at least I used to feel that. I don't feel as much now, but, you know, whatever. But the people, it's great for people to come out and laugh. You know,
Yeah,
they love it, you know?
that's a blessing. Trust me. I don't know who does not want to laugh. Let's listen to a clip of one of your jokes. Let me see. I was only going to do one of them, because one of them, I don't know, NYU, thinking of my school, YouTube censors on certain words. And I wasn't sure if they censored on the DAD joke. I wasn't sure. About that. Do you know?
No, I'm not sure what
I
you're
don't know. So I just said, be safe. We'll do one joke, and let's see
Okay.
if we can get it up here. Guys, give me a second. Here we go. Share. I think this is share. Entire camera, so video file, image file, share screen. Okay, give me a second, guys. I'm going to just
Okay.
give you just a little sample of our guy here. Ready? Here we go.
Guess you didn't know. Guess you didn't know there's also going to be an AARP meeting. I retired after working 35 years at Social Security, but they think I'm still in the bathroom.
I had to do that one. Wait a minute. Okay, I'm coming back. I had to do that one. That's a good
Thank
one.
you. Thank you. Thank you.
That's a great joke. They think I'm still in the bathroom.
You know, I have a callback for that. A lot of times, if I can remember, at the end of my set, I say, I have to go. My wife thinks I'm still in the bathroom. And that's how I usually end the set. If I can.
Oh, that's good. My wife. So let's see. What's the best joke you've ever written that came from your bird Charlie?
He gives me so much material. He's great. What's Charlie? What's the best joke? I say, well, there are a few, but one that comes to mind. Well, he hates our daughter. He flies to her and bites her. I asked the vet about it. The vet said it's hormonal, but it's too expensive to get both of them fixed. Either of them fit, whatever. And she says, you know, my daughter says to me, "You love Charlie more than you love me." I say, "That's not true. I love you both the same." um, and she'll say, I say she walks by the cage and sarcastically says, "Good boy, Charlie," and he says, "Don't patronize me." And
Charlie's too cute. Oh.
he's really good. I wish I could bring him to comedy shows. I have in the this is I have a picture of him on my shirt. This is him.
Yes,
Whatever.
I saw
So
that.
I do a whole set about him and stuff like that. And I have a set about but it's a lot of it is based on truth. Like I have a set about my wife accidentally stepping on him and us bring him to the hospital.
Oh
And
no.
yeah. And them saying, you have to leave him overnight because we want to make sure he doesn't have any brain damage. And I wonder, how do you check a bird for brain damage? What do you do here? Ask him who the president is?
That is the whole thing.
His mother's maiden name, it's ridiculous. So he gives me a ton of material. I say, like, he loves me, he likes my wife, and hates our daughter. That's the pecking order.
Yeah,
So,
there's a lot of material with that. I mean,
exactly. And he doesn't say, "Don't tell jokes about me,"
exactly, and he doesn't answer back. Well, he answers back, but not like that.
Well,
How was it being? How did being in the Marvelous Mrs. Maisel background scenes feel? Like, was it a comedy deja vu for you?
Well, I don't go that far back. Well, I wasn't really in the Catskills and the Borscht Belt, but I was in 2 scenes in 2 different episodes. But I'm on for like a second, like I was just in the background. In one scene, you see the side of my face. In another scene, you see the front of my face for a second. So I can say I was in it, but
Right.
so it was great. But go ahead. What?
The cameraman told me when I did Crocodile Dundee, he said, "Tell your friends and family if they extend gas, they'll miss you." It's the other way. I didn't want to say it that way.
Right. I tell people if you blink, you're going to miss me.
Exactly.
But exactly. But it was really eye opening to see how much it takes to film a TV show or a movie.
One scene.
Oh my God! Over and over and over.
I was in Crocodile Dundee. They showed me 3 times. 13 hours in the subway. I bet Skimmerhorn or somewhere. So there's a subway that they don't. Right. That's where they filmed the last 5 minutes of Crocodile Dundee.
I mean, it's great. It's great to say you're in it and to be in it. But gee whiz, it really takes up your life if you want to do it a lot of, it's hours and hours. And if you're not in the union, you don't get
complain back then. Now different, but back then they give you $150 cash or $75 cash. So it was a whole sweet day. If you didn't have any work, like if you're a model and you're between gigs, that $150 comes in handy. So I didn't care about standing around 13 hours with Paul Hogan hanging out. I got no problem.
Cool.
Yeah, he's a nice guy. It was like, oh, I got no problem with this at all. But then I played Jessica Jones once. I did an extra piece on that. That was fun. I really didn't do nothing but get dressed, they put clothes on me all day and send me out to the lobby, come back in and go right it. I don't even remember what the scene looked like, but I was like, I'm not complaining about this. This could be a thing.
Another comic, like he made a pilot for a TV show, Greg Criticos, and I'm in it in a scene with Helene, and I just hope it goes someplace. I have no idea what's happening with it, but that was fun. It was great if things go someplace. Another person made a short film, and I'm in it, but whatever. I'm waiting, but if things happen, it'll be great. If they don't happen, they don't happen. Whatever. Everything is great. Everything is gravy. Everything is gravy.
Being a comedian is like throwing putty to the wall. Sometimes it sticks, sometimes it doesn't.
Right,
That's
right,
that's how I see it. And either way, we still like throwing it, so it's okay.
right, right,
So
right, right.
the joy is in the throwing it. So it's like it didn't stick, but who cares? We'll do it again tomorrow. Try it again because we like to torture ourselves. You
Yeah.
know. What advice would you give someone who thinks it's too late to chase a dream?
Um, we don't live forever. So, this is your shot. Like you're not going to have another shot if you don't want to say at the end, I wish I had done this or I wish I had done that. So give it a shot. By not doing it, you didn't succeed.
Right.
So if you're afraid of not succeeding, you're already not succeeding by not doing it. So
Mm,
at least try it. If it doesn't
try.
succeed, it doesn't succeed. It's the same as if you didn't do it. And if it does succeed, you'll really be happy. You
Mm,
know.
that's so true. And so I have a last question for you. I want you to finish this sentence for me. If you want to make people laugh after 60, you better.
Be funny.
Mm,
And I mean, to me, funny is funny. It doesn't matter what age they are. Like I once did a show. I did two shows in a row with what they call industry guests.
okay.
And in one show, and in a regular club with a mix of people in the audience, whatever, mostly young, whatever, and they all laughed. And the industry guest said you were really great, all that kind of stuff. The next day I did another show again. I cracked the audience up,
Mm,
and the industry guest said, I can't have you on at one of my clubs. You're too old. They're not going to be able to relate to you.
what?
What didn't he just hear those people laughing? They were young people, laughing.
That's
But some
horrible.
people, ageism is a big problem.
It is. That's why I don't tell my age. I
Yeah,
love my
yeah,
age, but unfortunately, someone else may not.
yeah, yeah. To me, funny is funny. I don't make a lot of jokes about my age. Make jokes about things in general that would appeal to everybody.
Exactly. Exactly.
Um, making jokes about my bird, making jokes about work, making jokes about marriage, which I'm not allowed to do,
Right.
whatever. But every anyone can appeal, can appeal to anybody.
Yes, yes, anybody. That's true. Well, I thank you so much, Ziggy. I'm so
Thank,
glad to finally have you on here.
thank you,
I'm wishing you nothing but success. Hang out with for a minute as I say goodbye to everybody. Thank you, guys. I see some of your people on here. Thank you for supporting the show. Please like and share. Because we don't care about numbers, we care about people. Somebody's out there trying to get their little comedy groove on at 75, saying, "I don't know if I could do it." And Ziggy says, you can do it if you're funny. Okay.
yeah,
And
yeah.
funny takes work. It takes work, you
Yeah,
know.
I don't
So
know if you saw on AGT, they had a Comic Con who was 83 last week.
remember Schultz. George Schultz wasn't he older than that?
No, George Soros, he wasn't on AGT. The best
He
man,
was
they
80
had
something.
this, they had a, yeah, they had, but this woman was 83 and she was going on to the next round. So
What?
it was beautiful. It was beautiful.
Fabulous. See, yeah, you can never. I know a lady 80 something that started roller skating.
Wow, wow,
Yes. With the
wow.
professional Central Park rollers, they taught her. They were like, we'll make sure you'll be good. And she was like, all right, I'm gonna, and she's like jumping over cars. I was
Can
like,
you,
yeah,
can
just
you,
imagine.
can you imagine her in roller derby where they just flee?
I told her she should do a movie or a documentary. It should be that would be a good comedy. I'd like to see. But anyway, thank you so much, guys, because I'm off. But I want to say before I go with my outro, there, I want to say R.I.P. to Tanya Nolan, who loved comedy, was very supportive of comedy. We're thinking of you today, and thank you so much.
Thank
Uh,
you for having me. Thank you
yeah,
so much.
I appreciate you so much. You're like the legend in comedy for everybody. They just love you. Everyone loves you. Like I'm
Uh,
just gonna let you know that. Sorry,
Everybody loves you too.
I'm
Thank you.
sorry. Yeah, they love you. They're like Ziggy, and now I'm
Yeah.
like, when I met you, I was like, I see where they're going with this. I love Ziggy too, and I don't even know him as well as you do. But thank you so much, Ziggy.
Thank you. I hope
Yeah,
I hope I get to see you. I
we will.
I good. I hope we will perform together and everything.
Yeah, we will. We're going to make it happen somehow or
Good.
another.
Good.
But thank
Thank you.
you so much for proving that age isn't a deadline. It's a punchline. Your story reminds us all that laughter isn't bound by time and passion can bloom at any age of life. To all our viewers, if you've ever doubted whether it's too late to follow your dream, this episode should light fire inside of you. Okay. Keep going, keep growing. And I want you to do one more thing. Keep laughing. Okay. All right, guys. Hey, cousin Pat, I see you out there. Norma, I see some of your people, the Comedy Minute. Hey, thank you, Comedy Minute, for your comments. And I appreciate everybody who shows up. It matters. We'll see you next week. Zygy, hang out with me for a minute while I say goodbye.
Sure. Thanks, Tanya.